Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Construction Corner podcast. Today I'm going solo. I'm Matt and I am your host. So let's get right into this. It's going to be a little bit of a rant. I've got some things I've been wanting to get off my chest, especially as of recent. So this will be kind of our typical shorter solo episode. So buckle up. We got a lot to talk about. Today I want to get into one of those aspects of construction and development that can really be a giant pain in the ass. And that is the plan review process. For those of you that don't know, for any project, any new project especially, in most any municipality, you have to go through a site plan approval process with the local city, township, village, whatever it may be. Everyone is different. Sometimes this process is shorter, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. But at the end of the day, basically you have to come before the township, let's just say. You have to tell them what you're planning on building, give them some rudimentary idea through some renderings, through elevations, site plan details, sometimes even engineering. And you basically ask them for their approval. Now, this is a necessary part of the process. You can't get a building permit and actually build anything until you have site plan approval from the local municipality. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Planning commissions. Planning commissions are made up of local residents to wherever it is you're trying to build something. They have to be a resident of the local municipality in which they are serving on this board, this commission. Depends on where it is. Typically, there's between 6 to 10 planning commissioners. They also then have a township attorney who's involved. They have a township planner who kind of leads the whole process and gives recommendations and starts the reviews. So the shitty part about this is these are just people. Most of the time, they have absolutely no knowledge of anything construction or development related. Most of the time, they are unpaid positions, which is fine. However, what tends to happen is you get people who really just love to hear themselves talk. Kind of like having a podcast, right? Just kidding. But you get these people up there who don't know shit about shit. And they're supposed to decide, and they will decide, on whether or not my project meets the township's vision for how they want everything in their area to look, to feel, to operate. And, you know, it's one of those things it's really frustrating at times, because when you have people who don't know anything about what they're looking at, essentially reviewing and then asking questions and trying to put their opinions on it, the conversation tends to get very convoluted very fast, where in all reality, they should be asking questions about the engineering details or the actual construction materials or the plan for construction and development. We'll have people ask us things like, what's this going to do to the environment? Or what's this going to do to the traffic out on such and such road that may be nearby? And while some of these things are important in certain scenarios, they're really unimportant in most scenarios. And they will tend to sidetrack a conversation, and it's a crappy process at times. Now, what really gets me and what got me all fired up this week, before COVID, all of these meetings had to be in person. They're typically in the evening so that the townspeople, the local residents, have an opportunity to come and listen, or during the public review and comment section, they can stand up and speak their piece of mind. They start in the evening, usually 6:30 to 7:30, somewhere in that range, PM, and they last as long as they need to last. I've been in meetings where we presented at 7 o'clock, or the meeting started at 7 o'clock rather. We had our presentation and I was back in my truck by 8. I've also had meetings where the meeting started at 7 o'clock and I was back in my truck at 3:30 in the morning. Some municipalities have limits. They say that they will not go any later than 10 o'clock or a certain time, but a lot of them don't have any limits. So if you happen to get stuck on a meeting agenda that is chock full of different items and different issues that they want to talk about that night, if you're at the end of the agenda or after a really hot contested topic or development, you could be there realistically all night long. Now, this is a giant waste of time. It is a giant inefficiency in the way we operate in the municipal government process, and it needs to be fixed. It needs to change. Fast forward a little bit and get into the COVID era, the last few years. Well, like everyone else in the damn country, we learned how to do things virtually, how to use Zoom or Teams or Blue Jeans or any of the other streaming meeting platforms. We did it pretty damn well, to be quite honest with you. And while there is great benefit in getting face-to-face in a sales meeting, a meeting like a planning commission meeting or a zoning board meeting or a township board meeting, I cannot find the rationale for why we cannot stay virtual. There's no reason. Everyone has the technology, whether it's on a cell phone or a laptop or otherwise. Everyone has the ability to do these meetings in quite an organized and efficient fashion from wherever it is they call home or their own office. But what happened during COVID is a lot of the older folks, I'm saying that respectfully, but old folks are typically the ones who will show up at these meetings anyways. They're people that have been in the area for a long time. They have heavy opinions about what should and should not go in their beautiful townships and their villages. And they couldn't figure out how to use Zoom as effectively as some of the younger generations. That's my surmise. That's my opinion. It's not the opinion of anyone else necessarily, but that's what I think. I think that's bullshit. I think we need to change this system because it's incredibly inefficient. It is mind-numbingly painful sometimes to have to go to these meetings in person because it's just the wrong way to do things. It wastes so much time. It wastes so much money and so much energy. The meeting I had last week, it was 2 hours away from my home. So I had to drive 2 hours to go sit in this meeting. My particular meeting took about an hour, and then I would have driven 2 hours back. So for 4 hours with my ass on my truck seat, I could have done so many other things. I could have done so many productive endeavors that didn't involve just sitting and driving. And yes, I get it. We took on the project. We knew where the location was, and that's fine and good, but I don't care if I was building in my hometown. I still think that we can do these meetings virtually. We can do them on Zoom or on Teams and be just as effective, get them done quicker, be more organized, and be incredibly efficient with everyone's time and money. And we can set them up so that if people want to come to the meeting in person, they can do that. So if the old folks or whomever, Dale down the street that can't figure out how to turn on his laptop or his cell phone, he can go show up and sit in the meeting. We have video conferencing capabilities. We've had it for decades in corporate America in the office space. And we all proved it that even every Tom, Dick, and Harry can now operate Zoom. It's really simple. So open up the meetings fully virtual. Force the people to be on camera if that's what your problem is. If you're afraid of a faceless voice, you can force the cameras to be on. It's really quite simple. And it would boost efficiency. It would reduce stress. It would cost so much less money. And it would make the whole process all that much better. The planning and zoning review process is a joke. It's got to change. It is absurd that these have to be in the evenings also. I think they should be right in the middle of the day, during normal working hours, when normal humans are working. Now, I know the reason why they push them in the evening to let more people have the opportunity to come, but you know what? Tough shit. If it's that important to you to attend one of these meetings, then figure out a way to do it. And frankly, if we can do it on Zoom, it's even easier for everyone to take 15 minutes or a half hour, whatever it is, to go log on and watch these meetings and weigh in their opinions if they so desire to. I am all for attending municipal meetings. I am all for getting heavily involved in your local government, because a lot of the bullshit we're going through now is because we don't get involved in local government. No one does. That's why when you go sit in these meetings, it's old people and it's people on these commissions who don't know shit about shit and they just want to hear themselves talk. As a society, we allowed this to happen, and there's a whole lot of political things going on now that's a topic for a different show, but I want to stress that I am not suggesting we get rid of these processes and these meetings and these review sessions. I want to stress, though, that We can get more people more involved on a more regular basis by keeping them with a virtual option. Every single municipality I have been in the last 2 years either still uses the virtual options or they at least have all the equipment still sitting there in their township halls. The fact that they bought it all, got it all set up, and now it sits dormant, getting dusty, is absurd. Open the meetings back up. We will drive more engagement if you don't have to go show up at a dingy old basement of a township hall to have these things. Trust me in this. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. Planning commission meetings, zoning board meetings, township board meetings, these are a necessary evil in the development process, I think. But there are ways to increase involvement and to really make it more of a collaborative process than 6 to 8 people opining on a stage about what they think my project should be and should look like. So in case you can't tell, I'm getting more and more fired up. So my meeting was on Thursday of last week. And some of these people they just don't know what they're talking about. Okay? I got in not an argument. I kept my shit together. I'm very well spoken and I can be very professional when I'm in those situations. I calm the inner pirate down. But I got into a debate, let's call it, a polite debate with the chairwoman in this case, of this planning commission. And I won't give all the details. I won't say where I was, except that I was 2 freaking hours away from my home and my family. She was concerned about things that have literally nothing to do with my project. She was bringing up traffic concerns and wondering whether people driving trailers on the main road are really good enough drivers to be able to pull those trailers to our facility. You're probably sitting there in your car or in your office listening to this and you're scratching your head saying, what in the hell is he talking about? Well, I said the same thing. What are we talking about here, ma'am? None of this has anything to do with my project. I'm here to get a project approved so we can move forward with construction. And you're talking about things that are so ancillary to my development that they don't even make any sense. But what happens now is she gets one of the other commissioners saying, yeah, I agree. Traffic out on such and such road really is terrible. What are you going to do about that? And they look at me and my engineer and we say, respectfully, we're not doing anything about your traffic in your township. That has nothing to do with us. Our project isn't adding to your traffic loads. Our project isn't adding to the congestion in the area, not even a little bit. So then we get 2 other commissioners who are on our side. They agree with us. They agree with the project. They're excited to see something go in this dilapidated area, frankly, that's sitting dormant with nothing going on. They're excited to have new development, excited to have a new building and a new use, and to have this area cleaned up a bit. And they are now arguing amongst the other commissioners saying, you guys are crazy. And they're saying the same things I'm thinking. So I applaud them for speaking up. But they're saying things like, there is no traffic issue with the use these people are here to talk about tonight. What is wrong with you? Why do you keep bringing up the traffic? It has nothing to do with it. Well, now, though, you get 2 commissioners arguing with 2 other commissioners. And this goes on for half an hour. And nothing productive is happening. Now, also, the township attorney's there. And she was a real treat, as most attorneys can be. She did nothing to help the situation either. She just kept suggesting that we need to get to a resolution or table this or make a motion to either approve or deny, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, we got tabled. We have to leave, go back home, drive the 2 hours back to our home and our office, revise the drawings in such a way that we think, quote unquote, we can go get them to agree on. And then we have to be back there in about 2 weeks to redo the whole dog and pony show all over again. After that meeting, let's just say we get approved. Then we have to go back to the township board because the planning commission doesn't have the power to actually approve it. All they can do is recommend approval to the board. So now, adding insult to injury, we're just adding another layer of municipal government bullshit. Now we go back to the township board and we do the whole dog and pony show all over again. Literally the same freaking presentation. Now this will be the 3rd time. If the township board unanimously decides that they want to approve us, we're done. Great. We move on and we go on and get our building, our construction documents done, and everyone's happy. However, if the board can't come to a unanimous decision, well, then we leave and we come back in another freaking 2 weeks and do the whole thing yet again for the third, possibly fourth time. If you're not catching on how grossly inept and inefficient this system is, I don't know what else to tell you to help you figure this one out. But it is laughable. When I tell people who aren't in my industry what we go through with these municipal entitlements, they can't even comprehend what I'm telling them. They can't fathom a reason why this shit is so horribly inefficient. There is no good reason. That's why there is no reason. We need to change the process. There needs to be checks and balances. We can't go back to the Wild West. We can't be building whatever we want. We don't want people coming into our backyard, certainly, and building some shithole, ugly building that doesn't fit with the zoning, doesn't fit with the natural beauty of the area. I appreciate all these things. I truly do. But the way we are still going about reviewing and approving these things is archaic at best. Inefficiency. It makes me sick to my stomach. It is beneath mediocre. It is literally everything I stand against in the way I run my business and my teams. We strive for efficiency. We want to be 100 to 0 every day, all day long. We want to stack the wins. We want to move the needle forward every single day with our foot on the gas. And this sort of ineptness in local government stifles that. It stifles development. It stifles growth. And these people don't recognize it because most of them are unpaid. So they really don't give a shit about the tax basis, about what happens when we build a new building or renovate an old shitty building into something great. And now a new business occupies it and the taxable value of that property goes through the roof compared to what it was. Now the townships are making more money, but they don't care because they're not getting paid. So maybe that's part of the solution is we offer some sort of reasonable stipend for these people. And maybe that would attract better quality people who actually give a shit and actually maybe might know what they're talking about. You know, a lot of these commissioners on these lower level commissions, especially, they use this as a springboard to start their glorious career in government. Well, and in politics, I mean. They go from the planning commission to then maybe a board seat, and then they maybe apply or run for mayor of their town, and then they have these hopes and dreams that eventually they're going to be the damn president of the United States of America. Let me tell you, folks, especially with our system today, that just doesn't happen. Okay? It doesn't happen. It won't happen until there's a massive shift in political climate, a massive shift in how our government operates, and that's, again, another topic for another discussion, another day. I'm pissed off, though, guys. The plan review process, the planning commissions, the zoning boards, the township boards, we have to figure this thing out. I'm all open for ideas. I can't do it by myself. So I urge you, get in touch with me if you feel even remotely as strongly as I do about this. And I guarantee if you're involved in the construction industry to some capacity like I am, you've got some pretty deep-rooted feelings about this process, because if you've done it, if you've had to be the guy sitting there at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night with your family at home in a different city, presenting to morons who don't know what they're talking about, you know the pain. You know the pain and the inefficiency that I'm talking about. It's not just me going crazy. Well, I'm going a little bit crazy. But listen, guys, that's what I wanted to get out. I hope you get some value out of it. I hope it sparks a conversation. I will talk about this with anybody on either side. If you disagree with me, please reach out and we'll have a conversation. And I'll tell you how freaking wrong you are, but we'll at least have that conversation, okay? If you agree with me and you want to help, let's put our heads together and figure out where to start. Because it's not an easy process. Changing municipal government and entitlement process like that, there's nothing easy about it. I know this. Okay, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I'm going to continue doing this for a very, very long time. I would love nothing more than to help fix this system, which would then fix part of our industry. There's so much about the construction world I love. This is one of those parts that I just hate. I just can't figure out why we can't do it better, why we can't build better, approve better, have better government interaction, and just be better for it. So guys, that's it. That's today's episode. I got to go get some water before my blood pressure goes through the roof. Reach out to me and let's talk about this. Please share the show, guys. We need your help getting the word out there. We need your help building this movement. We're doing big things here at the Construction Corner podcast. Dillon and myself are putting ourselves on the line every single week to produce this content. Among all the other things we have going on, help us out in the smallest of ways. Leave a review on the podcast, share it with your friends and your coworkers, and we'll keep doing this and we'll keep reaching and spreading that growth as we all continue to build a better construction industry. That's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks.